Hey y'all, here we are with a 21700 Molicel P45B battery pack that I just finished welding some nickel strips onto it. And right now there's just one nickel strip, so I need to put another one, double it up, double them up, and I think then I'll be good to go. We'll see though, because the next step will be to wrap it in some tape and some heat shrink. Put some XT90, right? Is that what this is? XT says on here. Yeah, XT90. Put some XT90 connector on there, and then once that is ready, we'll charge it up. Oh, I need to put a balance lead on there. After the balance lead is on, and I'll solder that on, then the next step will be to charge it and put it on this big boy and see how it works with 10-inch. And you notice it's flat. I've got a couple of Molicels with 3 and 3 stacked on top of each other. And I don't know, I just wanted to see what it would be like to have more of a flat pack and just see what happens. I'll probably end up putting it under one of these and then stacking this on top in the middle, and then using a Y connector like this, and that way I get 6S 2P, lots and lots of long range power. It's not for freestyle, it's not for racing, any of that crazy stuff. These don't put out enough power. So the 45 in the number there is how many amps it can push out. So it can store a lot of power. I mean, if you don't know much about power, 45 amps is a lot of power, quite a bit. So, but it's not near as much as what something like this can do. So this is a lithium polymer battery, and it's a 4S 2P 14.8 volt, and it says it's got a 140 C discharge. And I'm kind of apt to believe it, because with this short, so when you're pushing a lot of amps, you need short, especially at DC, you need short copper cables. So we have short copper cables, we have Anderson power poles, connectors here, and then really short going into this K-weld. I've set it up for 30 joules of power, and then I ended up having to take my 3D printed spacer off because I've used this quite a bit, and this side looks pretty good. You can see that it's still got a nice tip on it there. You can see it's a little bit used. Come on, shaky. Stop shaking. So you can see it's a little bit angled. It's not exactly flat right there. But then look at this one, and you can see it's really angled. And you can buy replacement probes. So you can see it comes with these set screws here. You just take those out and it slides right out of there. And so that's how you handle that. But back to this, you can see I put a whole bunch of welds on each strip, and you can see how this is welded together. It goes positive, negative, negative to positive, positive to negative, negative to positive, negative to positive, negative to positive, negative, positive, negative. So at the end of all this, I will solder on my positive lead down here, and you can see that it is positive because it's got the positive there. And then you'll see that it's got the negative here, so that'll be the negative, and then we'll just kind of run it along. One will be longer than the other, so my negative will run across here, and then I'll have my XT90 hanging off of here, and this will all be encased in either some type of plastic or shrink wrap or tape or all of the above. I like to use Kapton tape. It's non-conductive, pretty strong. I've got some that's like 1 inch wide, so I can just do like one all the way around it. Something else you might notice is I've got some numbers on here. So I checked, like this one says 55, this one says 58. So when you're building packs, you want to keep all of your ohm values, your resistant values, as close as you can. That's what a matched cell is. So if something has a higher ohm value, like 58 is a little bit more than 55. So it's going to heat up a little bit more going through. The power that goes across here and through this cell is going to run a little bit slower and a little bit hotter because there's more resistance in this cell than there is in this cell. And so if ideally you want them all to be exactly the same, but that takes a lot of money. And that's why self-building packs is cheaper, because you're kind of just getting, 2 at a time, and both of them might be matched, might not. And then you get another pair and another pair, and you might end up with some that aren't exactly matched. And that's, it's not horrible, but it's not ideal. And the high-end battery manufacturers, when you go, well, why would I pay, let's say these are $5 a piece. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So $30 plus shipping. So let's say with my nickel strip, and we're not going to consider the cost of this because that's kind of separate. It does take this, but it doesn't have to. You could solder it, and most people that are building these packs have a soldering iron and some solder, and so let's just say, this is a $50 pack for the do-it-yourselfer. Now it's a little dangerous because, like, especially, if I hadn't done this a bunch of times before, and really even with that, I should do it anyways. Put a piece of electrical tape over your open ends that you're not working on. So don't do what I do. Do as I say, not as I do. And then as you expose them to work on them, that's how you're supposed to do it. And then once you have that, your shrink wrap, man, like a few dollars. So let's say $60. We're up to like $60 for a 6S 1P 21700, and these are I forgot the milliamp hours. They're probably like 5,000 maybe. Does it say on any of them? I don't think it says on any of them. Molicel P45B. Well, if you want, you look up what is a 21700 Molicel P45B, and maybe it's not the amps. Maybe 45 it's 4,500 milliamps. So 4.5 amps of power is in each of these cells. And then you're getting it at 6S. So that's just changing your voltage higher and higher and higher when you have more in series like this. So that's what the S means. So you have 6 batteries and they're in series, meaning, you know, if we laid them straight in a line, we could bend it down, and it would be like when you fill up a flashlight, and you know, you usually put the springy end on your negative, and then just the little bump at the end goes to the bump on your positive. And so what you're doing when you do that into a flashlight is you're putting them in series. So that's what I'm doing here, but these have incredible amount of power compared to like AA or something like that. All right, it's been over 10 minutes of me talking about batteries. Is anybody still here? If you are, hit the like. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe. If you don't like it, hit the down thumb button. I don't care. Either way is fine, because it's just me working in my basement at midnight, putting together a battery pack. See y'all later.